Commanders family, welcome into Free Agency Fridays. We are here in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio with possibly the biggest free agent in AP's GM history, man. Odafe Oweh in the building. Brother, first things first, congratulations, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good. It's an out-of-body feeling, but I feel good. I'm blessed, man. Thanking God.
When you say out of body, what do you mean by that? Because this is your first time going through a free agency process for real, right?
Yeah, and that's more so because the reason, it's my first time doing it. Growing up, you always see free agency, and it's like, damn, what if I was in that position? And I was finally got that opportunity this off season, and it was crazy, just having someone wanting your expertise, wanting to, have you part of their organization and everything. It's good to feel wanted. So.
What were those things that they said here that sounded right to you, that made you say, you know what, I want to continue my career here in Washington?
Just the dedication to my plan and what I want to bring to the team. I want to bring sacks. I want to bring game changing plays, and they were adamant in telling me that they want to help me do that. Coach Dan Quinn, he's a family guy. He wants to get to know you. He wants to relate with you, and that really connected to me. So. Because I feel like if you want to be dominant on the field, everyone has to be, connected, has to have a camaraderie and, like each other for it to be dominant on the field. So I got that connection.
And I got to imagine it helps, too, having a guy like Dan Quinn who's defense first, right?
Yeah.
Who is a defensive guy. When you guys do have those conversations, how has he been talking to you about how he is going to get the most out of you and get the best out of you?
Yeah, just attack mentality. Keep on going, playing forward, not trying to think too much. Just play physical, fast, and that's the type of defense I love. We thrive in because, I love getting off the ball. I love just, attacking, try to be disruptive. So that's what he's, told me about, and I'm excited about it.
And let's go to last year, because I think around week 6, you end up getting traded from the Baltimore Ravens to the LA Chargers. Now, in Baltimore, at this point, you have 0 sacks.
Yeah.
But then you go to the Chargers, get 7.5 sacks. I think 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in the playoffs, which is a Chargers record. You know what I'm saying? We do our research here, man. When you're able to do that, get traded, right? Because that's not always easy. It's a little tough when you don't expect to go somewhere else. But what went right last year when you did get traded?
It's all about just how you adjust and how you take adversity. Obviously, it was a tough look and everything. Obviously, it was not what I wanted at the beginning of the season, but I had a decision, go left to go right, and I decided to go right and believe in God that, if I continue believing who I am and continue to not cheat the game, put the work in, that the results are going to show, and, they did, and I thank God for that.
It's crazy. Sometimes God's plan is so much bigger than our plan. And thank goodness he has a plan, because it ended up working out, right? Like, again, you go, the last time we see you on the field, you broke a record, right? You're out there balling out. What about those big time moments bring the best out of Odafe Oweh?
Just like, that's just I've always just been doubted, always just been trying to prove that, I'm the guy that can make that play. So whenever those moments come, I've been trying to study them and just understand when could be the moment that if you make the play, it's gonna be crazy. Everyone's gonna go crazy. So and I really want those moments. So whenever I can see them coming, I get goosebumps. So when the crowd goes crazy, I know it's third and down. The microphone going crazy, I just lock in and go in a different mode. Yeah.
And you said you've always had this prove it mentality. Yeah. Now that you're at this point, right, where you've gotten that bag, a 4-year deal, which is AP's longest contract he has given a free agent as a GM, do you still feel like you have to prove it?
Oh, yeah, because now everyone's like, what you going to do with it, bro?
Yeah,
It's like everyone's going to know what you're going to do with it. And I got something to myself that I always want more. So I feel like I left some on the table. So I just feel like I could have had way more sacks up until this point. I could have had way more game-changing plays up until this point. So now it's time to show that, you've learned from the mistakes, and let's see what you're going to do with that. So, yeah.
It's crazy to think that you have more to do when you hear 7.5 sacks, right? It's crazy to think I'm still hungry for more. What work have you put in to be able to reach that plateau and be able to say, you know what, I have done enough?
Yeah. I feel like it's never really enough for real. But that's subjective, I had 7.5, but that was half a season.
Yeah.
Imagine, if I was locked in the first 5. So I think about stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm grateful that I was able to get that in that time period and a limited amount of games too, because that's a feat as well. So it's having a balance, And that's where I try to find my balance, because it can get crazy when you're always trying to like, oh no, you should have done this. You could have had 13, 14, 15. So I find that balance, yeah.
And we have a new defensive coordinator in Durante Jones, who went out and clearly got some of his guys on this defense, you being the biggest one that we got so far. How do you expect a guy like Durante Jones to get the best out of you?
You know, he told me he's just going to not, you know, have me thinking too much, let me go forward, be aggressive. And, you know, he runs this type of defense that allows the pass rush to be aggressive. So, you know, the back end is doing their thing, and I already believe that they're going to be dominant, you know, strapping up. So, you know, I'm excited. You know, he just let me know that we're ready, we're going all in, and we're trying to attack. Yeah.
And you fit that mold of that versatile defensive player that he wants, because as good as you are against the pass and rushing the quarterback, you are just as good stopping the run, if not even better.
Yeah.
What makes you take pride in both sides of those games? Because a lot of times you see a guy, he's a one-trick pony, but it seems like you do it all.
Nah, it's really just coming in. I was labeled as a run stopper, you know, type of end, and that's what I was at Penn State. And obviously the flag is, oh, but can he rush the passer? So then offseason, that's when I start training. Yeah. That's all I'm doing, just trying to rush the passer, work that, you know. So once I took one offseason just do pass rushing, and I'd always been a run stopper, it just started, you know, meshing, and I started being this complete player. And then I had to learn how to drop too. And, you know, I haven't got a pick yet, but
maybe this year.
I'm learning on that, yeah. I'm gonna work on my drops, my hands, and see, maybe this year will happen.
And you're joining a defensive line room with so many dogs, man. You got Javon Kinlaws, Deron Paynes, Dorrance Armstrong. There's so many people that they just added in from outside the building to come up in here. But what makes Odafe Oweh different? What makes you one of one?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of dogs there. Like, so I know they're all different in their different rights, but for me, you know, I'm just like, I started late. I started football, you know, when I was a junior, so I got a different drive in terms of trying to like make up space for the guys that, you know, have played their whole lives. And then, you know, I'm fast, you know, I'm twitchy. You know, I just feel like I have just a different swag to my game. I do it in an unorthodox way. I pass rush in an unorthodox way, so I feel like that's what makes me different. You know, I don't pass rush as the same way as everyone else. So, and then that makes me a little bit different. Yeah.
And then when you do come in here and you get paid and you are that premier free agent, there's an expectation put on you. Right or wrong, there's an expectation put on you by media, by the fan base. But I got a feeling the expectation you put on yourself is much greater than that. Is that true?
Yeah, it has to be, because at the end of the day, I'm the one going out there to do that, man. Like, and, you know, I've been through seasons where like I've had a lot of expectations, and I've had seasons where I've fallen short, and, you know, seasons where I've superseded expectations. So, you know, it's all about being balanced and understanding that whatever the outcome is, you can always get better. And, you know, you can't prepare yourself for what the next season's gonna show. So, like, as long as you know you came out the last adversity strong and, you know, head high, chest up, the next one, you know, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be straight.
And even talking to you now, I can see why they wanted to bring you in, because as great as you are on that field, I think you're gonna be just as good of a leader and a mentor to a lot of the young guys we have on that defensive line, and we have a few in closing. Are you ready for that part of this as well? Being that mentor, being that leader, because it seems like you're ready to rise to the occasion in that regard as well.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been through a lot in terms of just, you know, just understanding how to be like a rookie, a second year, third year, fourth year in the league. It's just different levels of understanding how to play it. So I can give some game to the younger guys, but, you know, I'm more so like a lead by example type guy. So, because I know these are all alpha males. These are all guys that they got here for a reason. A lot of guys don't like being told what to do, but at the same time, if you continue to show them like what you're doing is the right way and you're having, you know, success with that, you know, people are gonna follow.
Man, we are so excited to see you a part of this defense, man. I'm telling you, Commander fans, can't wait to hear from you, and just we appreciate you taking the time to jump up on here, man, and talk to us, bro. Yes, sir. Congratulations, man, on the big deal, man. That is major. You earned that, my brother. Commanders family, our next man up, part of Free Agency Fridays. Odafe Oweh in the building, ready to disrupt some offenses in the NFL, man. We appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.